So I'm listening to this, everything that's going on in the world, and I'm thinking, um, stoking fire. What is it? I mean, I'm like way too familiar with that. Like, getting pitted and what is it called? Uh, there's like so many names for that, like blowing, like anyhow. Eventually, we all do just become like the chimney. Eventually, we all just do become the chimney for people that are stoking the fire. And that might actually also be the 1% of people that are, I guess, also the 1% can represent anything. Anyway, either way, I stand by my belief that as a mother, my duty is to teach my children that if they go out into the world and they are not going to be cooperative with other people, decent and well mannered, it's my fault. That's my, like, this is my parenting attitude. Excuse me for. So the fact that people get killed because they're they're uncooperative, they can't relate to other people, they feel that they're like too, they're better than the law. All it means is this. This is all it means, my friends. I'm telling you from my own experience. I should stop touching my hair. But here's the, wow, big disappointment. People don't like authority. People don't like authority. They want to be in charge. And sometimes, and especially in these days, is people think that they can get in a suit and be in a position of power, and that makes them exempt from authority, and it doesn't. The way that you build yourself up to a position of authority is not, you can't put your image and that sort of thing ahead. You can, to a certain extent. I mean, you have to be reasonable here. Some people just take it like too far. And you know why people take it too far? Because other people let them. We let them. We let them go that far. How did you go that far as to make other people think that the color of your skin makes you exempt from proper behavior? It's just proper behavior. And you know what? Mrs. Potter, she's a very nice woman. She's a nice woman that is trying to do the right thing for people. She wanted to tase. I totally believe that she wanted to just tase him. But here's the thing. She wanted to control him. And he would not be controlled. And whether or not she took her taser out, and he was probably searching for a gat in his, it doesn't, I don't know. His mother looks white to me. So it's not a matter of race. It's a matter of how people are raising their kids. So to Ruben, my son, if you're out there and you hate cops, you know what? I hate them too sometimes. I just want, like, man, I'm a big girl. I can comport myself the proper way. Then do it. Then do it. I can comport myself. I don't need anybody to tell me how I need to behave. Okay, so then behave. I'm, I give you, I give my two kids all the room they need to grow into whoever they're going to be within the boundaries of harmlessness. You can't harm anybody. You otherwise there's penalties. When you are out on the streets, you know what it is, and people are people like like this sad person that died, sad person that died, are being encouraged. This is to my son as well, Ruben. If you're being encouraged to go and do the deed for these crackhead administration people that are trying to overpower you, don't do it. Stay home. Do you think that I believe in I believe in one thing. I believe that God knows everybody's heart. And that is what's going to dictate my decision. Okay? So stop trying to get like the sickest part about it is that poor people, like poor reckless people, and I've been poor. I've been really poor. And I have never used my son. But you know what other people do? They use other people to get into lawsuits. Okay? So here's a lawsuit coming for a mom that, oh, she sent him. Let's just, okay, let's start making lives matter, not necessarily about your color or anything like that, but about how much you want to make it to matter to other people and to yourself, more importantly. And this is why God is so important, because God is the ultimate person that's going to give you that food and energy for you to continue on and fight on if that's what you wanted to do. If you don't want to do that, you're just being a fool. You're being a game. You're being um, like the pawn on a chessboard. The the shield behind the. I mean, there's so many names. What is it? Gate guard, the gate guard, and in the corporate world. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not a gate guard. Um. Uh. So either way, please, parents out there, just know your kids could be police officers. Your kids could be even more than that. But it starts with respecting authority. Be honest with yourself. I know that, I mean, me of all people, that like, I thought I did everything correctly. And I still ended up in a very, yeah, not so very like happy situation. And can still be here and tell you that this is still the way that it has to be. You know why? Because the whole point is that you are enabling corrupted administrators to play their bid. You know that you you are basically answering to uh, their scheme. Like their scheme is this. Their scheme is humanitarianism and but none of those people actually even go to church. They don't do any, like they're not like religious people. They're not spiritual in any way. They're just people that had to have had sex with so many people to get into the position. And that is, by the way, what I call being at the right place at the right time. Okay, so you have to know the right people, and that has to change. That has to change, not for me, not for my own kids, because we got it. We'll we'll figure it out. But for the people that are actually trying to be a good person, even like in spite of all the evil around them. And I wouldn't mind being around for, um, Black young men that just want a mom. They just want a mom. I don't have a mom. I don't really rely. So what I would do is, if I was in that sort of a position, is I would educate these young Black men. In a lot of ways, we're so alike. I'm a Mexican woman, so don't even tell me about racism, which is kind of like, okay. So for like everybody that either way, the Lord Jesus said that he doesn't have a family. He doesn't have. So who is the mother? Who is the father? Who is the son? There is a mother. You can be the person that can bring that into yourself and into your soul. And it is true. God will answer that for you. You don't have to be like in a panic and be like, because one thing that I hate about mothers is that they use their kids as like some sort of like retirement plan. It's like, okay, well, okay. My mom thought that she may have um, been the person responsible for like the intelligent person that I am, and that eventually that I could have. And in fact, it made it worse for me. Like I can't even like I'm not even at the level where I should have been if I was born into a different family. That's the truth, Maria. Okay, Maria? She permits people into my life to ridicule me, to belittle me, and make me seem as though I'm not who I am, so that eventually I end up like her, a domestic abused person, even though I've already lived with a crackhead for 7 years, been away from him for 12, is it? 2004. Oh my God. Wait, okay, so I'm doing the math. Almost 20 years. Amazing. This needs to, this is a correction that has to be addressed at the very um, honesty level, if that's even uh, anything that anybody's familiar with. But you have to be honest with yourself. You don't like authority. Do you know who my authorities are and what I would answer to in this world? Besides God, my grandmas, my grandmother, my grandmother Chuy. Chuy is a short name for Jesus. She was Maria de Jesus Chuy, and Ophelia. Ophelia was just Ophelia. And these are my two biggest sources for how to conduct myself. And at the same time, I don't want to live with the experiences that either my grandparents had, to have, developed such, they're not trustworthy of people. They're not like they're. So and I get it. Like, they've been through a lot more, obviously, in this earlier century. Um, there was a lot more going on, but you can't treat people like they don't know what they're doing. And yes, you do have to confront them. And if you don't want to confront them, then walk away. Don't be a part of their life. But when you don't want to be a part of their life, is you can't also let them just barge into your life. You can't just let them. So it is a little bit of a fight. Okay, so either way, I'm going to go back to reading the news. Not reading the news, listening to the news. I'm actually going to jump on a webinar in a minute. So please, mothers out there, don't use your kids as pawns. Don't use your kids as like some way to like sue the government to get rich. Don't do it. And don't let other people use them that way either, because whatever was going through this kid's mind when he wasn't cooperating, because I am telling you, being being a cooperative person that is disciplined is a good thing for everybody. And this is what I tell my children, not my daughter, because she's okay, but my son is, well, if you're gonna, don't get like all ego tripped over things. Like, don't, don't, just stick to what has to be done, and then just do that. There's nothing difficult about that. Like, my son was living with me for a month in February, and it could have turned out to be like, it could have turned out to be such a disaster. But and it's almost like I saw into his head, and I thought, he's like in a place where he thinks that there's no tomorrow. And if I fail at making sure that he knows that right now you feel that way, right? You feel that way right now, but an hour later, guess what? An employer calls you. They want you to go work for them, right? What do you do with what? So you take like, measures based on what you feel at the moment, and you have no idea what other people are what what the plans ahead are for you. Sorry. So that's what you have to think about. You don't know what the plans ahead are for you. So just go ahead and be mad, get upset, take a time out, but you don't know what's in store. So I think that I can't speak for every situation. I'm only speaking for how I feel as my as who how I parent my kids. And there's been so many nights that I've thought, oh, this is it. Like, he's dead because like my mother raised like four of us, an immigrant from Mexico, and my older brother was shot twice. And like there's just so many things. And so like for me it's like taking a breath. So, okay. Um don't believe in the commercial world, everything that is sort of like pushed on you. No, it's about like, you know, fighting and or organic stuff, So hopefully my kids picked up those things from me while they were living with me. I hope so. I mean, I definitely don't want them to be pursuing like riches and money, because I think that that's how what I call them is wetback beaners, wetback beaners, because they want me to act like them. They want me to be like them. I'm not going to be like them. I don't want to. You can't. White people are not better than me, and I'm not better than white people. Period. I'm better at some things than other people, and other people are better than me. This is what America is about. Okay. Um, you can find your strength, you can find your skills, and then you can hone it, develop it, and exploit it and make a living from it. You can also just be like a baker, a butcher, and a hairdresser. Except that here is there's many different ways that you can actually, you have a little piece of the pie with everything that's going on. Either way, I already told my son, if you end up on drugs, you're not my son. You're the son of crackhead mothers that don't take care of their sons. If you end up this way, that's just the way I am. That's the way that people you have to put your foot down. You cannot get away with this behavior. You're not going to, if you get away with it here, you're going to try and get away with it elsewhere. You're going to end up hurting yourself. And guess what? That would make me an irresponsible mother. But since I'm responsible, I'm going to tell you, it's not allowed here. It's not allowed anywhere else to always follow the law. I don't care how indignified you are. I can be upset with you all day long. We can, go have a beer about it and, piss and moan. But at the end of the day, that was the right thing. You were in the wrong. When people call, when people call it to your attention, you were in the wrong. So that's how people need to parent their kids. um I don't want to see black men used as like for the black elites to purchase all the fancy homes that they do. I don't even know if they're aware of that, but are you aware that you're being used so that people that are using you, it's the same thing. It's a pattern. Don't be Keep things straight. Like I treat people like with respect, but we all have the same level of dignity. You just have to own that. You have to own that level of dignity for yourself. And then you can treat people with the same respect that you deserve. And then you can demand that. So I'm gonna jump on a webinar, but it was nice chatting. Have a great one. Bye bye.